Good morning, everyone. So it is February 2nd. It is Groundhog Day, and we are looking at a pretty powerful winter storm that is marching throughout much of the U.S. And I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So I'm going to make this fairly quick. I know I said that last time and it wasn't that quick, but just going ahead and giving you a look at radar. This is already underway in areas like Denver there, where we've got already quite a bit of snow. I think snowfall totals have been pretty impressive. It's looking like it's right on the line there in Kansas City. I know that there has been snow in Chicago, not quite as much yet in Detroit, but we're keeping an eye on that. Grand Rapids, keeping an eye on you folks too. I got friends up there, but folks like Cincinnati, Columbus, Indianapolis, St. Louis, seeing up to a foot of snow before this is all said and done. And the reason why this is such an interesting storm is that it is something that's going to be lasting for days. Through Friday for a lot of us. So let's go ahead and take a look at those alerts. So it's, going to probably be called the, Groundhog Day storm of 2022. Let's see if we can get those alerts up. This is a little bit, there we go. All right. So you see here in the pink, we've got winter storm warnings throughout Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, all the way up into Arkansas, Missouri, into the Midwest. We're looking into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, all the way up into the Northeast. You've got winter storm watches there in that nice little gray-blue color. And then I want to show you the spots that I'm really most concerned about. So ice is a problem, and that is the worst type of winter weather by far because it can cause power outages, horrible driving conditions. There's a lot that's, at stake when you have ice, and it's just something you don't want to see. And this is happening right where that warm air is meeting up with the cold air. So you're kind of right on the line here in western Tennessee, kind of far eastern. It looks like Arkansas there, even maybe into parts of Mississippi, up into the Ohio River Valley. And this includes a lot of Kentucky. And this does include some areas that are in my neck of the woods. So I'm in Nashville, and we're keeping a close eye on this because we're not that far away. And, spots that are pretty close to the Nashville metro are going to be dealing with this. But, that is something that's, one of the hazards of winter weather is dealing with that. And these are the areas that we're really keeping an eye on. So if you're, anywhere from Lexington into Louisville, Evansville, down into Memphis, Paducah as well, these areas, so that's the Cape Girardeau area, kind of like right on the line there. But, Bowling Green, not too far out from this as well. So there's a lot of cities too, like here in Clarksville. And this is, 3 of our counties, Trigg, Christian, Todd, up into Muhlenberg. We've got counties in this too, which, I'm a meteorologist in Nashville, so I know this area pretty well. But, this is a big deal. They're looking at a 1/4 inch of more of ice. And when you get to that 1/4 inch mark, that's when you really start to see power lines coming down, trees coming down. That's when it starts to become a big issue. So that's the area where icing is going to be worse. And that's that dark purple. That is an ice storm warning. And, even if you're not under the ice, well, snow is not something to be sneezing at with this system either. So one of the things that makes it so interesting is that this is going to last for a while. It's, going through the end of the week. And that's why the impacts are so big for this storm. So let's take a look right now at NAM 3 kilometers. And this is basically kind of a good way to view the evolution of the storm system over the next couple of days. And I feel like NAM has kind of caught up with the other models, looking better. And I just wanted to show you the timing with this model. So you see here in areas, Colorado, over into, Chicago. They've had about 4 inches of snow so far this morning. I know Detroit earlier was just rain. Not sure if that's still the case right now. But the Rockies saw a lot, got a little bit there up into portions of, Oklahoma Panhandle, up into Kansas. So we're just keeping an eye on those folks, but the ice is really what's concerning me. And that's going to be falling over a couple days. It's freezing rain. So that sort of pink color, when you see that, not a good sign. Now, St. Louis, I think luckily is going to be mainly snow, which is still going to be a big deal for them. But I think the ice is staying southeast of you folks. And you're going to see some ice also in Texas, central Texas up into Dallas. You're not under an ice storm warning, but I think you're going to see some ice too, even down into Austin, Waco, those areas. You can see that ice really coming into play in these areas. And this, if you look here, this would be early Thursday as we head in through the day. So late tonight into Thursdays when you really start to see that icing throughout central Texas, up into Arkansas, even into parts of Missouri. And it's really starting up there in Kentucky along the Ohio River Valley. And then let's keep going. So this is 5 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. And notice, let me make sure that you can still see the time. And this is Central Time, just so you know, because a lot of this action is happening in the Central Time Zone, and that's where I'm at. But this is what we're looking at. So you see that ice really developing. So 5 a.m., let's go ahead into the afternoon. So it's still going. This is into midday hours. There's the afternoon, and this is when that ice really starts to come into play along the Ohio River Valley. So you don't have a lot of time if you haven't done that sort of prep ahead of time that you normally do. This is going to be a big one for some folks. Some folks are going to see a lot of ice, half an inch or more. It's going to be a big issue. So you need to be aware of that, and you really need to prep if you haven't done so already. And I know, some of these areas in Kentucky, driving can be kind of treacherous. And this stretches all the way up into the northeast as we head into the next into the next couple of days through Friday. So that's what we're watching for. I'm going to go ahead and erase that. But notice you got that ice still going. So this is a long event. This is into Thursday evening. And then finally starting to move out, but you still see some ice on the back end of this. And that's why, even Nashville, we could see a little bit of, glazing in our neck of the woods. But this stretches up into the northeast. They're going to get a lot of snow, a lot of ice as well. So this is definitely just a high impact event with a lot of folks seeing that. Also, I want to point out a good portion of the southeast, including Tennessee, down into Alabama, into, even the Carolinas, you're getting a lot of rain. So if you're on the warm side of this, especially, kind of Tennessee, the southeast, down into Alabama and Georgia, looking at 2 to 4 inches of rain. And there are, on the warm side of this system, there are flood watches in effect. So just a heads up, we could see some flooding as well if you're on the warm sector of this storm. I know our focus has mainly been on, the cold sector. But, the warm sector, there's still hazards there as well. And I think this video is ending up a lot longer than I intended, but there's just so much to talk about. So we've already seen quite a bit of snow in the Denver area and Colorado. It looks like we've already seen quite a bit also in areas in Kansas up into, I think Chicago already has 4 inches on the ground in some spots. Let's take a look at what's going on through the rest of the day. So, this is into the midday hours into the afternoon. And this is when that really heavy snowfall is coming down. And it just continues, even into Friday. There's Friday morning. And that's when you can see a lot of the heavier snowfall totals moving to the northeast. But, stormfall totals for this, areas in Missouri, so St. Louis, up into, even looking at Chicago, into Detroit, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, getting up to a foot of snow. This is the most snow you've seen in a long time. So this is going to have some pretty big impacts on your next couple of days. Freezing rain, we're going to go really into this real quick. And just so you know, this is the National Weather Service's forecast. And I wanted to go ahead and show you guys that because I think at this point that is going to be the most accurate. So we've already had a little bit of freezing rain, some ice falling, but it really gets going in Texas later today. So this is, into the nighttime hours tomorrow morning. You can see Wichita Falls down into central Texas, Waco, into Dallas. And then you really start to see it coming into play in Tennessee, up into Kentucky, as we head into the midday hours tomorrow, into the evening. I think a lot of the heavy ice is going to be Thursday night into Friday for that Ohio River Valley area. So these are, the areas in pink here. And just to give you an idea, so this is looking like half an inch to an inch of ice if you go by this scale. And the National Weather Service is going to be a little bit more conservative than our models. I know that we've seen some pretty crazy ice totals from some of our models, but I think this is a good forecast to look at as we head into the next few days. And speaking of, we're actually going to look at something called the Winter Storm Severity Index. And I'm going to just go ahead and show you this. If you ever want to see it, just type in WSSI. And you can zoom in here. So let's take a look. Extreme impacts are in purple. So from Indianapolis, even into areas in Cleveland, you're looking at some pretty impactful snow totals. Here, where we're going to be socked into ice, this is really important. This area from Little Rock up into Memphis, up into Paducah, into Western Kentucky, this area right here is where we are going to be seeing just a ton of ice. Evansville, Hopkinsville, possibly even, these areas, you're going to have half an inch or more. Also looking kind of just around the Dallas area, possibly seeing quite a bit as well. So, in middle, in central Texas, moderate impacts to some major impacts. But when you see that purple, that's a lot of times when you're socked into either really incredibly heavy snow or that ice. So there's a lot to watch for. If you're in the ice area, you need to be on high alert. If you haven't made those preparations, do so now. And good luck, everyone. This is underway right now. So Groundhog Day storm that lasts through Friday for a lot of folks. And I'll try to have some more updates for you. And I hope you stay well, stay safe, and, just keep it here for the latest. I'm going to try to do more of these videos, and hopefully they look a little more professional as we go through the future. But thanks for sticking with me. And I really like doing these, and I hope you like watching them. So y'all have a good day.